Hi, I'm Ken. Hey.
Oh, hey, Ken.
We're
hey,
starting the show.
Out.
What are you doing?
Check this out. You were running late, so I thought I'd make us dinner. We got these new ovens.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, they're great for this. Look at this. Check this out. If I had one of these in my shop, we could cook at lunchtime every day. You know, up at Florinata, you guys used to do the barbecue.
That's right.
We could cook on these. We could do TV dinners. We could do little chickens. All kinds of stuff.
Buffalo wings.
Buffalo wings, that would work. Isn't this great?
Well, I think you know what we got to do now, though? We got to start the show. So let's give it another try.
All right.
Wait right there.
All right, here we go.
Hi, I'm Ken.
And I'm John.
And we're all about
ovens.
Tools. Well,
ovens
tools
tonight.
usually,
ovens
but tonight it's ovens.
That's
You're right. But
it's going to be a hot show tonight.
It's a hot show?
Hot show tonight,
Do
definitely.
I need to protect my buns?
Yes, absolutely.
Will they get toasted?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm concerned about.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and get these off stage to
all right,
crew.
Krista, would you come up here and get my jacket for me? Krista's here tonight, and she's Chris is our big stage boss, daughter. Say hi to your mother.
Hi, Mommy.
There you go.
She's saying hi like she's up in heaven.
Well, maybe something we don't know about. But anyway, tonight, well, here we go. We're ready to go.
Yes, tonight's show is all about ovens, forming materials, just all kinds of stuff. But before we get started on the ovens, let me close this. We did a show in Greensboro, and at every show we like to find one item that is really neat.
Well, actually, before we go too far on that,
okay,
I want to say to all you guys that were in Greensboro at the show, we had so many people come up to us and say, hey, you're the guys on TV or on their computer.
Right.
And that really just, you know, we really appreciated it. It blew us out of the water.
Actually, we were surprised at how big of an audience we actually have.
So many people. I was really impressed. And to all you guys, I want to say hi. Thanks for watching the show. And to all the rest of you, we really hope we see you in Orlando at the Surfaces Show, which is coming up, what, in another 3-4 weeks?
Yep, absolutely.
So we'll certainly be looking forward to seeing you there. But back to this. At the show, you really did find a really cool product.
We did. This is designed for woodworkers, but I immediately saw a use for it in solid surface. But from a woodworker aspect, let's go over that first. These are stackable bar clamps, and they're an accurate bar clamp. And what's cool about them is they are adjusted in and out with a drill, and there's two types. This type is for doing radiuses, and the difference is it can be screwed down to a surface. So you could set up with a trammel, a line, a radius, put these on the radius, and then screw them down. But what's really cool about these is you can take another one and you can stack it right on top like that, put another radius on, stack it again, and so on.
Now this one's different though.
This one is a shorter one, and this one is designed to stack. Now, if you purchase just the unit for stacking, for say doing doors or something like that, door panels, you get a track that you attach to your work surface in the front and the back, and these little grooves actually set right in the track, and it's perfectly square. So what you can do is, let's say you've got one door panel here, you set it down. You stack another one on top, put another door panel in, and stack them way up as high as you want, okay? Then, as the doors dry, you just loosen the clamp and slide this right out from the bottom without having to affect your pile, which is really, really cool. So that's something new, and then what we did was immediately...
So with these, you can have a big pile.
That's right, you can have a very big pile. But what I did see immediately was the use for solid surface, for laying up arcs, and we'll show a little bit later how you can actually lay up a small radius with this. What we've done
now,
here...
Now, if you've done that, let's say you have a stack, let's say 10 high.
Right.
And you remove the bottom one, could you slide another one right in there?
Oh, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Once you have these set up, you could just use them over and over and over again. Okay.
So you can do, I mean, I don't know what the square footage would be, but let's say you could do 100 doors in less than 4 by 4 square feet of floor space, which is unusual. So they're really cool, they're patented, they're brand new, and we've got them for you. So let me show you how we're using these with radiuses. This set at the show was designed for woodworkers because it was the woodworking machinery show. So what they had this set up as, let me loosen these up. These come back and forth very easily, just like this. All you do is open and close it with the screw gun.
Okay.
Very simple.
And there is really no front or back here because they have a nut on either end.
That's
correct. So
correct.
you can work this from either end.
So actually you could put a door here that's drying, put another door in. As this one's dry, you could draw this forward, clamp this door, and pull that one out. They're really versatile. So what we have here is we're going to back these out. And the way they had this set up at the show was they set a radius, and you would draw a radius on your work surface with a trammel, okay? And then you would just index these probably every 6 inches. We only have 4 of them here, and you probably would need more. But index them every 6 inches. And then what they did was...
And by indexing them, you're just
setting them about 6 inches
reduce the
apart.
possibility of flat points.
That's correct, right. And to further reduce the flat point possibility, they've included these pieces of steel. And what these do is these just set right here, one forward and one backward. Now, if you were using this in a woodworking situation, you could take a piece of wood like this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 5 layers of, looks like poplar. And they're about an 1/8 inch thick. So they've glued them, and then they took them and stacked them into this radius. Let's see if we can do it with these open the way they are. Okay. All right. And then what you would do is simply tighten this, and it would lock into that radius, and it would hold it perfectly in shape until it dried. So now, if you wanted to do another one, you could actually stack it on top of here and go up as high as you want. Now, you can also, this piece of molding was also made by this, and before the show, Ken was looking at this, and he's going, oh, that's a solid piece of wood. There's no way they did that in there. They must have steam bent it. And I looked at it, and I thought, well, first thing I thought was they didn't even do this in this fixture because it was so perfect. I thought that this was actually a solid piece of wood. But then I remembered that the manufacturer had given me this piece. And this is just all the glued up pieces that they used. And they clamped them together, and they stacked them in here. And then they set them down in, and then they drew the clamps up tight to form an arc like that, and then they went to a molder with it. So in a woodworking application, these are absolutely dynamite.
Yeah, the thing that just so impressed me about this is when I looked at the end, the grain is so perfect on it that you think it's a solid piece. But then when I looked on the end of the glued block, once again, because there was only a curve cut removed, the grain almost looked perfectly uniform again. So I mean, it's a phenomenal job. Made
Yeah, it
an
really is
absolutely
cool.
gorgeous piece of curved molding. So instead of going out, a lot of guys spend a lot of money buying curved molding from outside sources. But with this system, this would be extremely easy for any shop to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it.
And I mean, and that's got to you've got to be bringing a lot of money into your shop by being able to do curved moldings like this.
Right. So these are available in packages. They will be up on our website. I don't know if they are today. I think we got about half of them up, but they're available in packages. And then we'll be talking about a modification that we're making to the clamps to use them in the solid surface industry.
Yeah.
And then we also have this clamp. And this actually, we've been selling this clamp for 20 years.
Now, before we get into this one, let's
Okay.
talk about these. Let's stay within the same
Okay,
group.
I'm sorry.
Now,
Yeah.
now, for solid surface, we would use the same exact procedure. We would just use, I know earlier when we were practicing for the show.
Right.
This
We did actually practice tonight,
Yeah.
folks.
This actually worked extremely well with the solid surface. And one of the great things that it did, I know in the past when I used to make molds, I would make them out of wood, which actually traps a lot of the heat. It
That's
insulates
correct,
it.
exactly. You're right.
By using this sheet metal here, what it does is it acts as a heat fin.
Yep.
So it actually cools the material
Much
evenly,
And much
but
quicker.
quickly.
Exactly.
So you're actually getting at your material much faster. I thought this was extraordinary. And also, once again, because we use the metal is going to conform to the arc. And once again, we're not going to have it reduces the possibility of flat points.
Right.
Much better.
Doesn't eliminate it, but it reduces
So, yeah. So this is, if you've got let's say a full round radius on a 36-inch peninsula, and you've got to do an 18-inch radius, this is absolutely incredible for doing that task.
Just get these out of the way. Let me show you what we did over here. And this is something that, as soon as I saw this set of clamps, let me just set these out of the way here. Whoop, knocked my mic right off. I'm sure nobody heard that. Okay. This is fine, but the way that that's designed is there's no way to do tight radiuses with that. That would be great for an arc, or if you're going to do a pattern in front of a vanity where it's going to wrap down and then wrap back
we're
out.
We're probably talking, what, maybe you would say maybe an 8-10-inch radius and greater?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And that would also be best for polyesters as well, because we know that they don't bend as well. But for doing a small radius on a countertop, the first thing I thought of when I saw this was we could make a mold, and we could push this in with the mold and make a piece of material that would be like this.
More common radiuses.
More common.
1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inches, smaller, very common radiuses. Yeah.
So having that in mind, I contacted the manufacturer of the Perfect Seam corners.
Yep.
And what we've developed is a corner that's like this mold, but it matches exactly the inside and outside corners of the Perfect Seam templates.
That's an excellent idea. So for you guys that do the single drop edge and you like to thermoform your inside-outside corners, what that's going to allow you to do, if you're using the Perfect Seam to cut back your tops or blank out your decks, you can actually take, by thermoforming your inside-outside corners, you will have a perfect mate.
That's correct.
So that will save a phenomenal amount of time in the production of the top.
And a perfect mate is hard to find.
Well, unless you go to whatever they call themselves.
Yes.
But
esomething.com. Okay, so that takes care of this particular type of clamp. So this is going to be available soon. We're going to show you how the concept works, and this will be available probably in 2 weeks, and I'm sure we'll have it for the show.
Do you want to run that in and show everybody real quick?
Well, I'll do it when we actually do the
there you go. Okay, yep.
That's okay.
It, yep.
So let's get this out of the way. This is the next one that we have, and actually, this was an idea from a fabricator. And let me say that, I mean, although this is something that's not marketable, it's another use for the tool. It's not something you could make and start all over again. But if anybody does have ideas out there that they would like marketed, we would certainly be interested in taking a look at those ideas. We have a lot of people that call us and come to us, and a lot of the products that we sell are actually designed by fabricators. And we just help the process along by marketing it because of our network of fabricators. But anyway, this product we've been selling for 21 years, and it's called the GDE Sidewinder. And what it is it's actually a way to form or make a template off like a radius or an irregular shape. You could bend it like that. And actually all you do is you would bend this into your radius, and you would lock each one of these, and it would hold the shape of that radius. And then you could go ahead and make a template off of that. Now, this is not designed to have a router ride along it. We get a lot of people that call and say, can you ride a router along it and what have you, but you can't.
And that's because of the dimpling from the screws. And
exactly. But in this application, what we did, because this fabricator told us that this is how he does it, and I don't have his name with me, or I'd thank him for the idea because I think it's wonderful. But anyway, he ordered 2 of these, and these come up to 12 feet long. So if you have to do a large pattern, you can do it with this. So what he did was he takes his shape, and first of all, he makes his shape with the first one. Okay? So he can either pattern a wall or whatever he's got to do.
So you can actually take it out, you can take it into the field, form it right to the wall, tighten it up, and bring it, essentially you have a template.
Right. Then what he does is he sets it down, and he pushes the other one into it, and locks it down. But what we've done with this set is we've drilled holes in every one of these bars right here. This one doesn't have it, but this one does, obviously. So we could screw one down to the work surface. So now we have one that is fixed totally down, and you can take a heated piece of solid surface, form it into there, push the other one up against it,
and we use clamps,
and then we just use spring clamps. So we'll show how that works when we actually put a heated piece in there. But that's an awesome idea as well.
So if you're doing a job where you have somewhat of a free-form shape, not necessarily a consistent radius would best be done on something like this, really, but a free-form shape. And we've seen panels done in 1/4 inch and the like where you have multiple shapes. And you could actually take this if you had let's say 3 or 4 of these that have the same shape. You could actually use those on something like wacky board, and you
Right.
could actually make a large mold.
Wacky board is, a lot of our viewers don't know what wacky board is. They think we're wacky board, so.
Yeah, wacky board is different than the other wacky thing you think of. Wacky board is actually a soft core product, and it is very pliable. You can actually take and flex it very easily. It's usually about, I believe, I want to say 3/16, a quarter of an inch thick.
Okay.
But it's
It's also called wiggle board.
wiggle board.
Wiggle board. That's what we used to call it up north.
Wiggle board. Well, I was
Wiggle
up
board.
north. I was in Boston. We call
Well,
it wacky.
maybe you were a little further up
See,
than
well,
I was.
in Buffalo, it's
but
wiggle.
anyway,
In
it's
Boston,
wiggle board
it's
or
wacky.
wacky board, one or the other. Okay.
But
either
you
one
could
of us
actually,
would be a description for us as well.
Yeah. But the great thing about that is, once again, because it is so malleable, it's great for making forms. Because unlike if you were using like a Luan board, you would have to make a lot of bracing to get the same uniform flex. Whereas
Right.
with wacky board or wiggle board, that's not the case at all. So it'd be another consideration when you're working with something that requires a lot of freeform paneling.
Okay. So what else?
So
But let's talk about forming in general. The reason that we did this show tonight was not so much, well, to show you the ovens, obviously, because this one's new and this one we've been selling, but to more show you how easy it is to form. People stay away from it because they don't know anything about it, and they say, well, I don't know about that, I don't want to do it, it could be a big investment, but it's so easy. Ovens start around $1,000 and they go up to $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. In the clamshell oven, we sell one in 6 foot, we sell one in 12 foot, and then we sell them wider and longer, so you can do full sheets if you'd like. But it's so simple. You just put it in, bake it. It's no different than having an easy bake oven.
And one of the great things about it, if you're, especially if you're a shop that's into the vertical drop edge, this is a great answer to getting your inside-outside corners. And a lot of guys, go through a lot of trouble to make blocks. If you think of your time that you put into making blocks and how much this can speed the process up for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Labor is the most expensive thing in any
because
shop.
normally you're going to stack, and you're going to make a square in the corner. You're going to cut the corner, so you have to glue it all up. With this, once you have a mold, or actually some guys mold right to the top, which I think is a little bit more difficult. They put a step in it and then mold to it with glue blocks. But once that's done, it's a breeze. You just take that molded piece and put it up onto the countertop. And I see we're going to go for break right now. We'll be right back, and we're going to talk about the Align Right oven first, and I'm going to have a bite of that pizza during break.
Cool.
We'll be right back.